Hello, and welcome to this episode of the HCOM Podcast. This is Noxious, aka Nox. Once again, I am joined by Corey, who's our host,
What's up?
and Dozy, who is one of our content creators slash streamers.
Hello, hello.
And HCOM Podcast. This is where we talk about everything esports related, gaming, networking, and sometimes a little bit of stuff outside of the gaming world. HCOM stands for Heavy Comms. It is also MOC spelled backwards. And if you don't already know, MOC stands for Mercenaries Online Creating Hell, and I'm the owner and founder of the organization. So without further ado, today we're going to be talking about skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM, VPNs, cheating, and keyboard and mouse versus controller. Let's get right into it.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
So Dozy, I know you play on keyboard and mouse, right? And you've also tried controller. Talk a little bit about that, or your experience with the two, because I only play on controller, and I never played keyboard and mouse yet, so I don't know anything about from that perspective.
Yeah, of course. So I'd like to say, to start off, there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to keyboard and mouse, mainly from people that have never tried it. So, if you go to a lot of YouTube videos, where people make videos talking about kind of the advantages and disadvantages of aim assist or mouse and keyboard, there's a lot of misinformed opinions in the comments, and one of the main ones is people say you just point and shoot with mouse and keyboard, which it's kind of true, but it's also not, because people don't understand tracking, which is something that me and Corey talk about a lot, and he can tell you that I complain about it so much. Basically, you can't track what you can't see, and in Warzone, visibility is not that great. The color choices that they use when they designed both the operators and a lot of the map aspects, they just kind of blend into each other really well. So for me, one of the biggest issues when it comes to playing on keyboard and mouse, even though I'm more comfortable on keyboard and mouse since I've played it for so long, it's always comes down to tracking mainly. And also, with aim assist, like you said, I have tried controller, and I enjoy playing on controller. I'm just nowhere near as comfortable as I am on the keys. But on mouse and keyboard, every well, let's just say this: aim assist does a lot of the tracking for you, especially up close and in those close range encounters. There's the rotational aim assist, which kicks in if you're strafing. It kind of just, well, I mean, sometimes it's so strong it'll drag you onto an enemy you're not even aiming at, honestly. But for me, it's just the tracking. It becomes insanely difficult, especially with the advanced movement. And, once you get into these higher KD brackets, or these higher KD players who are good with movement and who can break your camera, even on 120 FOV. I mean, it's hard to manually track some of that stuff, and on top of that, if you can't see it, it makes it even harder. So I would say, to start with, that's a big misconception, is that just because you can point and shoot at something doesn't mean you're always going to hit it. I mean, if you're just a millimeter, like a hair off, you're not going to get anything. And I'm not sure about hit register or hit box and all that stuff on controller versus keyboard and mouse. I want to say, from my own experience, I've noticed some shots that I would not hit, even in the same hitbox on mouse and keyboard. They kind of seem to connect on controller, and I'm not sure if that has something to do with aim assist or just the way the animation works. But Corey, what do you think? You haven't really tried keyboard and mouse to the same extent that I have, but I mean, you're the controller perspective, so what do you think?
Yeah, like I said, keyboard mouse for me is really, really hard. Like I said, I've tried it. Like I said, me and you 1v1 and all that, but definitely aim assist up close is strong. But for me, I can't get to the point on controller where my movement is like mouse and keyboard. Your mouse and keyboard movement is like godlike.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's you can break somebody's legs in a heartbeat. Like my hands can't I don't know, multitask like that. Like I would have to spend a year probably playing just mouse and keyboard to to get good. What? How long did it take you? Like what was about 6 months, maybe 3 months?
It's really hard for me to say because Warzone was the first game that I played keyboard and mouse on. Because I was a super casual gamer. I mean, I played Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4 on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. But no, I've put in nowhere near the amount of hours that I have into Warzone the past couple of years. So I did used to play on controller when I did have those consoles, but I mean, with Warzone, I started on keyboard and mouse. I sucked really bad because it was the first game that I'd ever played on keyboard and mouse. So, I mean, from where I started to where I am now, I guess another thing, since we're gonna talk about skill-based matchmaking here in a little bit, with skill-based matchmaking, it's kind of hard to notice yourself getting good because your opponents are always sort of at the same level you are. So it's hard for me to say at what point or how along in the journey that I sort of got good at keyboard and mouse. But yeah, I would say maybe 6 to 7 months. But I feel like I'm always improving. Like there's always things I'm changing. Maybe even up to a year and a half into the game before I got down to where I could just do these advanced movements and not think about it.
I think
Yeah,
you're definitely improving because you can go back and watch like your previous streams or VODs if you have them saved from that long ago. Because
Mhm.
I know it's one thing I do all the time, especially when I have my Call of Duty competitive team and when I was on the roster. We would go through all of our VODs from scrims and over the past few months, and we can see the improvements and everything. And the same thing when I do with Warzone, I'll look through my VODs and everything and see how my movement was back then, on Verdansk versus how it is on Caldera. Because it's you have to change your whole playstyle on this map too, and I have to try to
yeah,
adapt to different guns and different movements and everything. And speaking of movements, I want to go back to what Corey was saying. Like the reason on the last podcast when I said when I first met Corey, I thought he was on keyboard and mouse because of his movement, right? Like your movement is, I was watching you play because you have the PC symbol. I never looked to see if there was the controller or whatever. I just saw, oh, PC, so he's on, he's playing with Dozy, so
yeah.
he's probably mouse and key. When I saw your movement, I was like, yeah, he's definitely mouse and key. And then when you said you're
Yeah.
on controller, I was like, wait, what? That's pretty good movement for a controller. I was like,
I like I said, this is a little bit off talking topic, but like I said I just got a scuff too, so I mean I'm
and
getting
that,
used to
yeah,
the
equipment
back
too.
pedals. Yeah, but
Yeah.
uh on
But
another thing, what Anderson, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
Dozy said about the aim assist and controller versus mouse and keyboard. If if you're pretty much a good mouse and keyboard player, you're gonna win most all like long range fights.
100%.
Sniper battles. That's just what I think. Like I said, up close, it's a little bit hard because the closer you get to a controller player, the stronger the aim assist is.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and
I
the
agree.
further you get back, it's still there, but it's not as potent. And I'm gonna say this, and I've talked about it before with Vanguard, which a lot of people don't like. But the aim assist in Vanguard is it is too strong, uh, and it's just unbelievable that they haven't fixed it. Because I mean, I play Vanguard to level up guns for Warzone, and like I said, me and Dozy 1v1 and on controller. I told him, I said, look at this aim assist, and it's even strong for far away, and that's the crazy part to me. But like I said, the main thing to me, if you're playing mouse and keyboard and you're trying to get better, is try to get your fights in a certain range. Try.
Yeah.
I know you can't always do that, but at least try like a medium range and not get too close. Like if you play Rebirth like we do most of the time, it's hard because that's all it is up close fight. So that was my suggestion to Dozy at one point too. So, but like I said, I would love to be on mouse and keyboard, but I mean, I don't know. I'll need to practice. I get so frustrated at it, and I just switch back. It's just crazy.
Yeah, when I get my gaming PC here in a few months, I'll definitely try it. Because I definitely want to. I think it's definitely would be fun. But I've been a controller player for the past almost 12, 15 years ish.
Yeah.
So my mind is like, okay, what's this key do?
Yeah.
Click the button and the whole game eggs out the game.
Basically all it is. I mean, Andrew or Dozy would tell you. I mean, it's muscle memory. I mean, you just got to get. It's the time played. You got to play, and like I said, and I want to play online instead of playing like the best way to do it would be playing bots and just going into a private match and just messing around with it, And if I did it, but I mean, I'd rather play online, and when I play online, I just get shit on. So I just switch back. That's just me.
Well, that's the predicament. I want to sort of add on to what you had just said about the time it takes is because, I mean, and also play styles because, I mean, Corey, I think you and Knox know that I like to be up close in the action, so it's just more of a play style choice. So a lot of the times I will push teams that maybe on controller, if I was the same skill level on controller that I am on keyboard and mouse, I could wipe those teams. But because I haven't put in the time to do that, it's just like there's a predicament of playstyle mixing with just not having the skill level. It's like you said, you'd have to put in the time on the keys. I haven't put in the time on the controller that I have on mouse and keyboard, and it kind of makes me wish that I had started on controller, since I believe the game is more tailored toward controller players.
Yes, it is.
And I haven't, so it's like it's frustrating. Like you said, it'd be frustrating for you to play on the keys, and it's frustrating for me to play on controller. Even though I win those up close gunfights, it's like, I can't have both. I can't have the play style I want and do well unless I put in another year to get to that skill level. Because if you look at these top streamers and top earners, like from tournaments, almost all of them are on controller, and the ones that aren't are the ones who have put in probably years in other FPS titles. I mean, we're talking Siege, CS:GO. These are like top tier level mouse and key players because I think I've said this before, but if you get a really good controller player against a really good mouse and key player up close, that's almost going to go to the controller player fucking 9 out of 10 times, I would say.
Yep. You're not lying about that.
Yeah. And, I guess we can transition to skill base as well. We were kind of talking about when you get those high earners or those top tier players and the streamers, their skill levels, are so high, yet when you watch them sometimes, it's like they get the easiest lobbies,
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? And so I guess that's where like a VPN might come into play. Not saying all of them do it, but you kind of wonder when there's a tournament going on, what do people do? Like, what lengths do people go to not only put on a good show, but also to win? So you have that skill level. They know that their skills are so high that they're gonna get to, lobbies where those people are gonna probably like be just as good as them. Yet they just, push everything. And they wipe a team, push this, wipe a team. It's like, wait, I run out in the middle of the field and I get sniped from somebody I don't even see.
Yeah.
It's like that hardly ever happens, But I don't know what.
Or they don't get shot in the back, or never third partied, or anything like that.
I mean, to be honest, their biggest problem is stream snipers.
Yeah.
That's all I see is people stream sniping. They don't really get, they get a few people that are good, but their biggest problem, 9 times out of 10, is not going up against somebody else with a better skill. It's going up against a stream sniper.
Yeah.
Me and Corey.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
Me and Corey talked about it when I was at work last night. Basically about people exploiting skill-based matchmaking. I'm not sure if it's VPNs. I'm not sure if it's dummy accounts. I I think there's a
Could
way
be
to do
both.
it that may not be out in the open yet because I mean, yeah, they're good. Like these players are good
Yeah,
when
they're
you look at their
definitely good.
KD,
Yeah.
but I mean, 5 and 6 KD in regular skill-based matchmaking, you'd have to be a god to be a 5 or 6 KD with regular skill-based matchmaking. So that begs the question, why are they a 5 or 6 KD? Is it because they're good, or is it because they found a way from the very beginning of their account to exploit skill-based matchmaking to give them lower tier, lower skill level players? And that's not to say they might be a 2 or a 3 KD against people like us who aren't as demons as they are, but there's no way to know, and it's frustrating for someone like me who wants to be a content creator and make quality content that people want to see if I can't produce that content without resorting to either exploiting skill base, which I'm not even sure how to do. I mean, I've downloaded a VPN, I've downloaded a geofence, I've tried them both. I mean, I haven't noticed that much of a difference in lobbies. I mean, the easiest lobby that I've gotten recently is when I was playing with a friend of mine who I'm not sure is KD, but it's not even that low. But it was the first time I'd played with him, and I dropped 22, which is my PR even in Rebirth. So it's not that high of a PR, but I mean, and me and Corey talk about it all the time, is there's so many things that go into skill based, time played with your teammates, time played with whatever input you're on, keyboard and mouse or controller. Because the first time I hooked up a controller, I hadn't touched a controller in 2 years, no practice. I dropped 14, and that was in Verdansk. I'm like, hold up, how did I just drop 14, and how do we have a bot lobby just because I switched to controller? So there's so much that goes into it. Did you
I
want to
know.
add to that?
Yeah, I'd noticed it too. Like whenever you switch, it's just a little bit easier on lobbies. It's not too much, but I mean it's enough to tell that something's going on there with the input, like you said. And I'm gonna add about the VPN or I'm really against Activision. I think they're just really money hungry. That's all, I mean, and they always been like that. But like these, really the top creators in my mind, this is my opinion, that there's still they got something going on with Activision and the skill base. Like they'll throw them a bot lobby every once in a while to break a record with a gun and have posts, and it'll go like have 500K views. That's all about money. That's what that's advertisement. That's what that is. That brings the players in and gets you to buy the bundles of that certain gun. But that's my opinion of what's happening with these big streamers, and that's basically how they're breaking the skill based matchmaking is with Activision's help. That's my opinion, and not like I said. Yes,
Dun, dun.
and like it's just crazy just to see. I mean, the players they play against, like when they drop all these kills. I mean, people's just running straight in front of them
Yeah.
and not even shooting them. No slide cancel, no jumping. No, nothing. They don't.
Buddy
When they
hopping
do
around the
shoot,
corner.
yeah. And like I said, when I play, or I'm playing against people bunny hopping, jumping up and down, slide cancel, drop shotting into a bunny hop. I'm like, holy
All
shit!
at once, yeah.
Yeah, all at once, and it's just it's crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's definitely something going on. I mean, hell, even when we can kind of group this all into streaming too. When I'm streaming, sometimes I'll get a good, resolution, good quality stream, and then the next day I try to stream, it's all pixelated, it's all the bit rate's off and everything. Yet when they're streaming, they get no throttling, and
Yep.
my ISP, I have good internet, I have a good package to stream because I've done it before. Yet it's like, is my ISP throttling and theirs isn't, or do they have like a direct line, a fiber line? I know like a lot of the bigger names, they have like fiber and they pay like $5,000 a month for their internet. Of course you're gonna have godlike internet with that, but it's like,
I mean, yeah, but a lot of these people. I'm sorry to cut you. A lot of these, the big streamers and stuff have like $10,000 to $15,000 setups too.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, and a lot of them moved to the different where the servers are. Like we talked about this last night. Like I said, there's a server in Texas. There's
Yeah.
a few big streamers who
A
moved
lot
to
of people
Texas.
moved to Texas.
Yeah. So I mean,
And that's the thing. Twitch has, I think, 2 servers in Texas. I think there's one in Dallas and one in Houston. But my thing is like, does Twitch give more priority to the big names on their platform and less priority, server wise, I'm talking, and less priority to the smaller streamers? Or is it all to do with your internet or your ISP? Or is it maybe both? Like when I try different Twitch servers, sometimes when I'm trying to figure out or troubleshoot a problem, is that I get different like, pings or different, what's the word I'm looking for? Not resolutions, but quality. So like sometimes I even try an East Coast Twitch server, like Atlanta or something, to see if it's different,
I think absolutely there's something. I'm not sure it's something that really involves money. I mean, it all does when it comes down to it. But there's so many. I think it's because there's so many small streamers. They only have a limited number of, I guess, bandwidth or whatever you want to call it to give out. And so that's why you see when, like, I think you got to reach affiliate or partner, whatever it is, before your viewers get the options to view in different qualities, like resolutions. Yeah. So I think some of it's that, but I think if you're not making money for Twitch through subs and through whatever else they make their money on, I guess ads is one. If you're not making money for them, then they don't really have a priority to, give you the same service. It's like any other business. Like, they're there to make money, and if you make money for them, they'll make money for you. But if not, then I don't really see why they would put that much effort or attention into smaller streamers. That's my biggest guess when it comes to Twitch. But when it comes to as far as like Activision servers, like Corey mentioned, we were talking about last night. Like my favorite streamer, Exact. If you watch any of his recent videos, he plays on 7 ping. Like he has a 7 latency. Now you run into, like, at his skill level, which is very high, you run into teams that are maybe not as skilled, who have maybe 50, 60 ping. You're gonna wipe that team before they even know what hits them. Honestly, like jump around the corner and jump back, they may not even see you at all, and they'll still die. So I mean, 7 ping, that's insane. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. But he lives in Texas, and like I think it's in Dallas that the Activision server is. So I mean, they are. I can't fault these streamers for using every advantage. As far as like ping and stuff, like I would do the same. I would get an updated setup. I would get a nice PC, better internet if I could. I'm not at that level yet, but as far as like exploiting to get bot lobbies for content, I don't know. Like it goes back to skill based, and the problem with it, like, it shouldn't be in the game, at least not the way it is. Corey, me and you talked about it last night. If you want to share how you think it should be set up, which I agree with.
In my opinion, like, here's the scenario I put up last night. Like, all right, if your KD is 0.99 and below, you should be in your old bracket. If you're 1 to 1.99, should be in the bracket, and 2 and above should be in their old bracket. Like I said, I don't know how I don't know if it would break up the queue times. It would make them longer or whatever. But that, in my opinion, that would work a lot better. It would take the 6 and 5 and 4 KD people out of, like, they would have to play with their own KD, like, people, like from 2 and up. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't get people in the lobby that would be like a negative KD or right there at about a 1, and like it would switch, like you said, Andrew. It would switch the content. It would go from not dropping like 30 and 40 bombs to like trying to win, dropping 15 or 10 to 15 kills, because they're really actually playing against what they're supposed to be. Skill-based matchmaking, that's what it's supposed to be. Like I said, the skill base hurts the average player.
Exactly.
It does not the person coming home from work after a hard day that just wants to relax and play the game,
Right.
and they have like a 1.5 or 1 KD.
And they just get stomped into the ground.
Yeah, I mean they just got home from sweating at work. They don't want to sweat on the game. They just want to casually play. You know
Right.
that's crazy to me. And
It is.
if you got like a 6 KD, you're just chilling in the lobby because really you're just going to shit on everybody in the lobby basically. You
Yeah.
know, it makes no sense to me. But that's my take on it. Like I said, it should be like them 3 brackets, and they shouldn't. If you have a 2 KD and above, you shouldn't be near a negative KD person playing.
And there's enough players. I mean, it's Warzone. They have 75 million within the first couple of months or something like that, and even more now. So like, there's enough players for that to work. Just make it impossible for these high KD level players to enter these low level lobbies. If you're gonna have skill based, if it has to exist, it needs to be reworked, reimagined, whatever you want to call it, so that it's not so number one so easily exploited. Like, it needs to be impossible for these people to get into these low levels lobbies. And like Corey said about the content is something we talked about last night. Like, even some people in the comments, like almost every video that where you drop a 30 or 40, or where somebody does, not me, because I never have. Anyway, in these video comment sections, at least a few people are like, I wish I had those lobbies. And then there's a couple fanboys that are like, shut up, you're just bad. But like, no, like everybody wishes they could do well at the game.
Right.
And until people, or until Activision or whoever it is, Raven, until whoever is in charge makes it so that it's not, I don't know, it's just bad. I mean, we could go on and on about it. It's just not well designed for, like Corey said, for the average player. It doesn't hurt the good players because they know how to exploit it, and they're doing it for content. They're doing it for streaming. They might just be doing it just to not sweat, and I can't blame them for that. And also the tourneys, like you were saying, Knox, or one of you, I forget who said it, about the kill level, or I'm sorry, I forget exactly how it was said, but if you watch these streamers in tourneys, they drop 4 or 5 kills and they play scared. Like, they play, of course they're playing for money, so they're trying to do well, but I mean, that's how we have to play against the people we play against, because we're playing against people our own skill level. We can't be reckless like they are. So when you get a big group of them together in a tourney, whether it's for a lot of money, for 50, 100,000, or a couple hundred, they play differently. It forces them to play differently, and I like watching it. But then everybody in the stream is like, you're playing different than you usually do. Be more aggressive. So I think the whole thing with skill-based is it creates unrealistic goals and expectations for people like me, like small content creators who want to be at the skill level of these players and who aren't really willing to, I guess, exploit for views. And like I said, I've got the VPN, I've got the geofence. It's not like I haven't tried. But another thing is transparency, and I'm sorry I'm rambling, but I want to say this about transparency. If I was to get bot lobbies, or however it works, if I was to figure out how to do it, I would 100% put a disclaimer in my videos, or up on the screen in my videos, like a little animation, VPN activated or something, so people know how it works. Because you got these big streamers who aren't being honest about it. I mean, maybe they're scared they're going to lose viewers, but I mean, you have to be transparent with your audience. Like, if your audience knows you're using a VPN to drop 40 kills, they're probably not going to mind, because, like, as long as you're honest and transparent, and that's something that doesn't really exist in the content community as far as COD goes, and why, if I ever make it, as far as getting views and stuff, I kind of hope to start a trend where these big streamers are held accountable for how they get these gameplays. And so I mean, there's a lot of kids that don't even realize, like me and Corey talked about Korean Savage, and you can talk about him a little more about how he's dropping, or he used to be dropping nukes and stuff on really low level players, like disabled kids, you know. And like these kids, I was one of them. I was 15, 16 watching these videos, wishing I could be as good as these players, not realizing they're not that good. They're just, I mean, is it cheating? That's the question. Is it cheating? I don't know. I mean, what are your opinions on it? Is it cheating to exploit skill base?
Like he actually, Korean Savage made a video and said yes, he did or does reverse boost for content, and like I said, there was a big thing about that with he either dropped a double nuke or a triple nuke off of a disabled kid, you know, and that come out like on Twitter, and that was really big. I think another creator, I don't know, quote me if I'm wrong, I think it was Shane Figs that did the same thing, that he come out and said that he was reverse boosting for content, and this was like in
we can double check on the facts and everything.
Yeah, this is back in like Modern Warfare 19 maybe, and like I said, it's just crazy. Like I don't understand it. Like I said, just I don't know.
So, but I think there's like a lot of variables that goes into this, right? It's not just like one thing, you know, across the board. A lot of players, streamers, content creators, big personalities, they do a lot of different things, you know. Some might use your VPN, you know, some might be cheating. I mean, they've actually caught a lot of people who people swore they weren't cheating, they were actually cheating, you know. Wall hacks, whether it be wall hacks, whether it be always on radar, you know, whether it be every single cheat in the handbook, you know, installed. So you have, you know, cheating, you have VPNs, which, you know, some people think of using a VPN is a form of cheating, you know, or exploitation. You got cheating VPN, you've got people who are actually just really good at the game, and they just literally just get into a lobby and they just melt. We've seen that before. So it is, like all of us were saying, it is kind of really hard to tell if you're just that good of a player or if you're cheating, you know. And unfortunately, nobody knows until that person gets caught or either found guilty or not guilty of said accusation. So while it is a very frustrating thing when you go into a match and you got somebody bunny hopping and snaking and slithering all over the ground and hitting you with headshots, and your aim is just going everywhere, it's just like, is that person really that good? Are they using that paddle that good? You know, am I just that bad? Like, because you start thinking to yourself how good you are, right? Like, we're all really good. Not to stroke our own egos, but let's be honest. And anybody listening to this, y'all can go look at our videos. We're decent, you know. But when you go up against somebody who you know you should have won that gunfight and you lose that gunfight, it starts messing with your mind. You're like, how did I lose that gunfight? I hit all my shots, chest and above, yet he comes around the corner, bunny hops, his gun is pointing to the wall, but he melts me. Did the bullet ricochet? Like, is my frame, you know, is he playing on a better monitor, or his refresh rate better? Or you start thinking of all these things, and it just messes with your mental. So you're like, okay, maybe I should try this. And you start trying to adjust your play style for that one game, and it just throws everything out of whack sometimes. And so it really is just hard to tell.
You start questioning yourself, and with the cheating situation in Warzone, that's the reason why, like, a lot you yell out, "Is he cheating?" or "What does he do?" I mean, because you never know. I mean, because the last podcast we talked about just a little bit. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people using just walls.
Yeah,
you know, and you really don't know if they know how to use walls without, like,
making it obvious,
you know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
There's people doing it all the time now. Like, I saw you know, Tim the Tatman spectating somebody who was openly using walls. He was tracking players through everything, you know. So that's why I like watching when he's like spectating people. You can see, and it kind of helps you look out for certain signs that somebody might be, you know. Sometimes we'll, you know, watch the kill cam when you died, and you know, oh, this guy's hacking, or he tracked me, so you kind of know that there's a cheater in the lobby. Or when you watch the kill cam, you're like, oh, well, you know, he just did that to me. You know, he just
Shit on me.
it's very frustrating. The game, the game is I wouldn't say Verdansk was broken, but Caldera and Rebirth, it's like you see less people doing like aimbot and autolock. You see more. I feel like you see more walls and tracking than you do with like aimbot and headshot only.
Yeah,
Stuff that gets under the radar. Stuff that's
Yeah.
harder to.
because
Yeah.
if you're hacking with walls, it's very hard to kind of tell. Whereas if
Especially
you're
if-
locking on somebody's head who just spawned in from the gulag, you can't even see them. They're a little speck in the sky, and you just get pop.
Especially if they really know how to use the walls, it's really hard to tell. Like I said, it's just if they've been using them for a while and they know how to hide it really good. Like I said, we played yesterday and we actually killed a rage hacker in Rebirth, and that's the first one I ran into in a while. Because Andrew got his shit,
Yeah.
his shit knocked off, and he's like, "Yeah, this dude's cheating." And actually, we actually teamed up on him and killed him. But that's the first like rage hacker
Did you
I've
teabag
seen.
his body? Please tell me you teabagged his body.
No, I didn't.
Shot it.
didn't.
Shot it.
You
Shot
shot
it.
his
Dude,
body? Okay, cool.
No, I was dead. I was dead, and they're like, "We wiped him. We wiped him.
Yeah,
Get him
I
out.
was-
Get him out."
I was just screaming. So, but the anti cheat seems to be working better. Like we talked about last podcast, Verdansk was awful. Every game cheaters. Every game, you at least had one or two cheaters or a team of cheaters, and it's just like now with Caldera, it's not as bad. You don't see it as often,
Right.
and that's what the anti cheat. Like I said, if you have the money and these cheat providers, they're going to find a way around it, and it may be more money, but if you got money and they want to cheat, they're going to cheat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. But at least the anti-cheat keeps that down a little bit. You're not going to see a cheater in every game. You maybe see one every once in a while. And in my opinion, that it's still not good, but it's better than having one every game you play and you're like just logging off the game like F this, Oh, it's just crazy. But
I don't know if you guys saw. There was a video. I think I sent it to you, Corey, or you sent it to me. I don't know how I saw it. There's this guy demonstrating how these big streamers can cheat with a foot pedal. Basically, how like you just press it when you want your aim lock to turn on or whatever. And so I think because of that video, a lot of these big streamers, I don't know if it was Wagnificent. You told me had a foot camera now, or Biffle. A lot of them. I've been kind of coerced by their chat into using a foot camera because there's so many different ways you can toggle these cheats, and if you're good at it, like you can wait till you're centered on the person, toggle it for your headshots or your chest shots, toggle it off before you ever even stop aiming down sight.
Right.
And you can practice this and get really good at it. And I'm sure there are a few big streamers who are doing it. Maybe not with a foot pedal, maybe they can, you know what, I just thought of this, but this would be genius actually if they're doing it. Toggle it to a back button on their controller. So you got the paddles, toggle the aimbot with the back button on your controller if that's possible instead of a foot pedal. Because when people show their controller in a controller cam, they're not showing the back buttons of their controller.
Right.
I mean, there's so many different ways. I mean, you don't have to be that creative of a person to think of different ways to cheat. And like Corey said, if they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. It's just, I mean, it's one of the unfortunate parts of FPS games for sure.
I know a lot of people. Well, a few people use foot pedals to toggle their push to talk on Discord. People do that.
yeah.
But they could just as easily use that, like you said, to toggle a cheat. Or if they're having a battle beaver controllers don't use paddles; they use buttons. So a battle beaver now is kind of like they're not taking over a scuff spot, but a lot more players are getting battle beavers. They can toggle a button, or if they have a scuff or another controller, elite controller with the paddles, like you said, they can toggle that. They can set this key or set this button or paddle to do this. A big thing years ago in the Call of Duty community was the it wasn't called chroma key. That's for like CG, but it was something that you plug into your controller. Cronus, I think. Cronus Max or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a big issue too. And I mean, and there's one streamer, I forgot his name. I think it starts with an M. He's got like 5 cameras, you know, to prove that he's not
Yeah.
cheating. So
Yeah.
it's just, and then you see a lot more streamers now. Usually they would just have like a face cam, right? You have a streamer, they have like a face cam. Well, now some streamers that only had a face cam, I see them have like a camera showing their hands on their mouse and key. Like you said, some people showing their foot. I'm like, we trying to show? You trying to sell feet pics?
OnlyFans, you know?
Whoa, what is? I thought this was Twitch and YouTube gaming. I stumbled into, but it is like, you know, all these hacking and cheating accusations are forcing these streamers to try to prove to their audience and to everybody else that they're not doing what they're being accused of. And it's becoming just a huge, big deal to where it's just like, yo, how hard is it to really put in a really good, solid anti-cheat to where all of this can just be debunked? You know, all of this can just be worked out. Like, it took them 2 years to come out with anti-cheat for Warzone.
Yeah.
2 years. And people still using walls and stuff. It's like,
it's crazy.
it makes it very, very, it makes you not want to play the game. You know, and I mean, look, you can go on a category in Twitch and just look up what the most viewed right now. It's not even Warzone. I think Warzone's like number 2. For a while, it was like number 3, number 5 when that was during Verdansk's downfall, right? But it's like there are other games. I mean, people who are just doing the just chatting category sometimes get a higher viewing, depending upon the time of day, of course, than Warzone. It's just, you know, if you want more people to play the game for a longer period of time, make the game playable. Like you said, you know, really do more about the cheating. Get some type of format, like Corey was saying about the SBMM, which, you know, I don't know if it has to be tiers, like you said, that would be nice. In a perfect world, you would think that. But, like you said, it could affect the queue times. You know, it could affect because you got different time zones. You got people who might do alt accounts, so they're going to try to find a way around that. But I mean, at least an established system to SBMM, if it has to be in the game, make it to where, you know, it's easy, it's good for the casual player, right? And it's good for the professional player. Maybe make a ranked mode. You know, some games have casual and ranked. I mean,
very good point.
Yeah, Siege is very well known about having casual play and ranked play. If you're just playing casually, you're not going to go into a ranked match. I mean, because Rainbow Six Siege is very, very not only skill oriented but team oriented. I mean, I played that game back on the 360 and the Xbox One. No, not the 360. Sorry, Xbox One is what I played. That game is like tough. I played it with my squad. I mean, it forces you to make some wise decisions, you know. But there's a casual mode and there's a ranked mode. Maybe do something like that, you know, to kind of help balance. I guess, you know, everything should be balanced. You know, Thanos.
Yeah, I mean, it would help, but you like. We was talking about earlier, these big streamers with these KDs and stuff making content, they're not going to play rank because, I mean, all it is going to be sweaty. They're going to go straight to the casual play to get their gameplay. Yeah. Basically it.
And so maybe that's where your idea of whatever KD you have. And for those of you listening, some people out there, they don't have a clue what some of these names mean. So KD is pretty much your kill-death ratio, how many kills you have versus how many deaths you have. And that kind of establishes what kind of skill you are based off of that in the game. And then PR is personal record. And, you know, some other abbreviations you can look up. I just kind of want to throw that out there because I know some people who listen now, they don't have a clue about gaming. But I just want to kind of show, when we say KD is your kill-death ratio. And that kind of literally establishes what kind of skill you are, and that kind of establishes what kind of people you're going to go against in your lobbies. Just to kind of throw that out there. But
another thing is, like, in the past CODs, like, I've seen this too come up with the controllers with the paddles, like the scuff, and it was basically scuff back in the day. Well, people was calling that cheating because, I mean, it actually is modded controller.
Right.
I mean, it that's what it is, and people don't talk about it because
It's become accepted.
It's become accepted. But like when they first come out, people called that cheating. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they did.
I mean, it is what it is, and like trust me, being a controller player, like you said, with the Coronas, they got strike packs now. You got you got controllers now that are like you can get on Amazon that's built in, like rapid fire and all these other mods just built in the controller. And I'm going to be completely honest. I looked it up and I told Dozy this from the start before I even looked at the new Scuff Reflex or whatever. I looked at the strike pack because you could buy it for $30, and I did the research, and it gives you the back paddles, and you can remap them for $30. That's all you have to pay, and you can't find them anywhere because they're all sold out. That Coronas, all of them are sold out everywhere. You cannot buy one. They cannot make them fast enough for people who's buying them.
And I mean, that begs the question: are they buying it for Warzone? You know?
Yeah, or anything. Like Fortnite. I mean, with the strike pack, you buy it for $30, then they have a year subscription for what I don't know how much it is, but they have different. Me and Dozy had this conversation not too long ago. They have different mod packs for different games. All these big lists of games, they have mod packs. And like with Warzone, I was telling Dozy, like you can set a back paddle to slide cancel for you, rapid fire jump shot that you press one button, you keep jumping up and down shooting at just one button, or you can drop shot rapid fire, and as soon as you hit that one button, you go straight into drop shot shooting.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. Like I said, and the industry can't. I mean that's on any console. You can buy that's console, PC, anything.
Any system out there
that
can support a controller. You can use that.
Yeah. So I mean, you can make this argument: is the strike pack? I mean, it is different from a Scuff or but is it though? They're both modded controllers.
Well,
you understand?
No, okay, so it is and it isn't. So when it comes to like overall layout or aesthetics, yeah, they're kind of similar or the same. But some of the mods that are built in some of these modded controllers give you certain advantages that a Scuff won't, such as that rapid fire. There's no Scuff controller out there that's going to give you that. It's just, easier to maybe jump or drop shot, bunny hop. And of course, bunny hop means jumping around the corner twice like a bunny. So we'll use that term a lot. Just throwing it out there to you viewers. Gotta help you guys out, But it is and it isn't. So some of those modded controllers that are, you could call it illegally modded, have stuff built in that the Battle Beaver and the Scuff doesn't. So what sets them apart is, Battle Beaver Scuff is a reputable brand, respected and everything, and these other modded controllers give you certain advantages that might even trump that. That's considered like cheating or illegal or whatever. Because if you try to go to a LAN event with a modded controller like that with a strike pack, they're not gonna let you play with that.
No.
They'll turn you on in a heartbeat. But if you come with a Battle Beaver or a Scuff, they're like, hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think it comes down more to comfort and because if you think about it, you can play Claw.
That's true. Like people play that too. Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, my favorite streamer, Exact, he plays Claw on he has a Battle Beaver, but it doesn't have back button. It's just a Battle Beaver controller, but he plays Claw, and I'm sure it has the the hair triggers or like the mouse click triggers. But I mean, even with that, you can download multiple softwares that you can remap your buttons and change it's almost like the dead zone for the triggers, so like you don't have to press it down as much for it to register. Because I was telling Corey that I was looking at it the other day when I had my Battle Beaver hooked up, because I was trying to play around with the remapping of the buttons, and I saw that you can, like, even if you don't have the mouse or the hair triggers on the back, is it triggers the back buttons on a controller? I guess it is.
But if triggers, yeah.
If you don't have them, You can use the software. So I think it comes down to comfort and like, because not everybody wants to get arthritis from like playing claw.
Yeah,
Because I've
claw
heard
is
it's like
awful.
hella
Awful.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But so yeah, comfort. It's just ease of use. I think because like you said, no, it's you're not gonna program like a scuff or a battle beaver to do the things that these other modded controllers can do.
Right. Yeah. So like and to come full circle when we're talking about aim assist and gunfights, um, some of those gunfights you lose, are they using a modded controller with that rapid fire or
Yeah.
whatever? Is it really their skill that trumped yours in that gunfight, or is it their equipment?
Yeah.
And you just have to chalk it up to where I gotta take that L, win my ghoulie, I'll come back and win the game. There's really nothing you can do because you don't know. You don't know unless you're spectating that player and you can see obviously that if they're doing something. You don't, and sometimes the kill cam will tell you as well, but a lot of times you just don't know. And I think that unknowing, knowing that the ricochet anti-cheat hasn't really worked, or the fact that it took 2 years to come out, not knowing if you won, not knowing if you lost a gunfight to a good player or a player using a cheat is really frustrating. It's the not knowing, I think, is what gets under everybody's skin, especially mine. Because I know my skill level, I've wiped teams before on Verdansk, even with the cheaters, and it's like, how did I lose this gunfight to this bozo? You look at the kill cam, he's just sitting in the corner ADSing, and then you come around the corner, he just melts you so fast. He's like, wait, I hit all my shots. Oh, he had an Owen gun and I had an LT10. Okay, so is it the gun now? Is it the gun because, do you blame the gun being OP? Do you blame that player sitting in the corner waiting for you because he heard your footsteps? It's like so many variables that go into this particular game to where it's like, okay, I'm going to just sign off and play Minecraft now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to, bro.
Yeah. But like the kill cams are broken too, and
Yeah.
like, unless they're blatantly like headshot cheating, you won't really know.
Right.
Like and you won't know if they're using a Coronis or whatever, because like I said, when you watch the kill cam, I mean, it's the kill cam doesn't really show recoil at all. I don't believe. But I mean, it's like I said with these modded controllers, like the Coronas, the Strike Pack. I mean, you can I guess there's probably ways that you can make aim shift stronger, more stickier.
I mean, the strike packs have been around for a good while too.
Yeah.
Even when I was playing comp, like, people are always talking about strike pack. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the store and get a strike pack. I'm like, what? It's like the fact that you just go to your local store and just buy one or order one and you have it shipped to you in 2 days. It's like, what lengths do you go to try to, because people want to be the best, right? If they're trying to play comp or be in an AM or win tournaments and they just not doing it in a regular standpoint, they're going to try to find ways to get to that level. So it's like, yeah, you might ban 30,000 cheating accounts, but that one person that was so affected by those cheaters just made an account and now he's wrecking everybody in Rebirth. It's just like people get so tired of losing to cheaters where that saying, you can't beat them, you might as well
join them. Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just to quick add to that. Well, two things. Number one, about the recoil, and the kill cams being broken. Like sometimes you can't tell with the kill cam because it looks so different than what it should. Like they'll be skipping all over the place, and you're like, oh wait, he just like flicked to me. He was facing one way, he just flicked to me and shot me through the wall.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the kill cam, the laggy kill cam. But I had a guy yesterday. I mean, I was having such a bad day in Rebirth yesterday. You can ask Corey. I was down horrendous. I was in a bad mood. I just kept dying. Anyway, I saw this kill cam. This guy beamed me with an AK-47, a Cold War AK-47, except it didn't move at all. And I'm like, and the thing is, he killed me really fast. That's why I watched the kill cam, and it didn't move, but it didn't look like he had aimbot. So I was like, hold up. what build is it that he has on that AK?
Attachments.
Yeah, hold on. Let me cop this attachment guide from him real quick, because like it didn't move at all and he hit all headshots. I mean, I wasn't moving, to be fair. I was trying to get my loadout. I think that was the game that I landed and I couldn't get my loadout like 7 or 8 times. I was mad.
No.
Anyway, so that was the first thing about the kill cams, and then I totally forgot what else I was gonna add, but it doesn't matter.
Was it about a gun or build, AK build, or?
No, it was something we had talked about after the kill cam, something you had mentioned. But I got it.
Okay.
So the frustration with like playing against cheaters and you might as well join them. I think there's also, like we talked about, all about the skill base. There's a frustration with skill base to the point where good players, they want to cheat because they can't do well in lobbies. Like they know their skill level, but to be that player that they want to be, they feel like, and if they don't know how to exploit skill base, they feel like they have to cheat. Like they know they should be getting kills, and it's like, I'm not justifying that, but I can see from their point of view being frustrated. And like, yeah, you can always improve. And like, I'm working on a script for a video, or I kind of paused it, but I have been working on a script for a video called Why You Suck at Warzone, but it's basically all about your mindset and all about like being able to yeah, hopefully it'll get views. Anyway, it's all about your mindset, and like instead of getting mad and saying some stuff that, you know, I wouldn't dare to repeat on the podcast every time you die, you know, and like it's all about the mindset shift. So like, watch that kill cam, record your gameplays, break down every single one of your deaths, and say, why did I die here? Did I overextend? And a lot of people don't have the mentality, the improvement mentality. They have the entitlement mentality, or they think, you know, I should be better than I am. And I get it, because you've put 2 years into the game. I struggle with this every single day when I log on Warzone. I'll die, I'll get frustrated, and it's like, I've put 2 years into this game. I know I'm good at the game. Why did I die in this situation? And like Corey had said, it makes you question yourself, or maybe you said that, Nox. It makes you question your skill level. But you have to, I mean, you can choose that route, or you can choose the mindset of like the improvement, or I don't know what to call it, the improvement mindset, where you choose to put in the time. You aim train. If you're on mouse and keyboard, you download an aim trainer. You put in an hour of that every day. If you want to be that top tier level player, you have to put in the effort, because I mean, nothing's given to you, basically. So it's all about the mindset. If you take the time, you break down your deaths, you say, this is why I died, next time I'll do this instead, you will get better. The only problem is you'll get better, and so will everybody else, because it's skill based. So
yeah,
given has to be earned.
Exactly. It's, I mean, there's so much we could go on and on and on about, but I think
I should rephrase that. What cannot be freely given has to be earned. And I did that when I was playing comp too. You can ask Fears. Maybe we can get Fears on the next podcast. Is we would go with the team, go our VODs when we did scrims against other teams, and we would train. Like we would coach. We did that for years, and it's true. Which all you're saying, all of that, looking at your gameplay and trying to improve yourself, it is true, because we've done that. I've done that, and you can see the turnaround. You can see the positive effects that it has when you analyze your own self, look inward, and say, okay, I see why I died here. I was shooting, his foot instead of his head, or, oh, I see why I died here. I did this. I should have did this. Maybe I tossed my stun way too far. I love running stuns. I just stun and run. You know me. I throw a stun, I'm in your face. So sometimes I botch my stuns. It bounced off a wall and hit myself, and I'm stunned, so I gotta lay down and wait 5 seconds for it. And it's like
every game for me. Every game.
It's like, so looking at yourself and not always blaming it on this or that, I think is hitting the hammer right on the nail, Dozy. It's like, look inward sometimes, because sometimes it could be your fault that you lost that gunfight. So, because I have had to do that too. I'm like, sometimes when you hear me say, I'm coming, brother, I got stunned. It's not even they stun me, it's I stun myself. It's like, okay, hold, don't die. I'm coming
We
by
know
Twitter.
about the stuns and flashes, don't we, Dozy?
Oh my god! Every game I'll have to be like, I messed up my jump, or I
I
stunned
broke my
myself.
legs.
Yeah, broke my legs, flashed
Oh
myself.
my
Give me a
god.
second.
Oh, but yeah,
The worst is when I flash myself in the middle of the gunfight and then I have to just lay there and die. Like I deserve that, honestly.
That's
I'll
the
be back.
worst too.
I'll be back for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I love the
I
death
hear
drops,
it. I hear it. I hear it at least once I get every time we play. I just flash myself. I'm dead. I mean,
Yeah.
I flash myself. I'm dead. Stay up.
yeah,
Yeah. 3 more seconds.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I mean, and like I said, all the SBMM, keyboard and mouse, VPNs, you can literally group all that together, like we just did. You know, they all kind of go hand in hand. And I think if they are able to somehow get a good format for SBMM, I think that would help. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you can't outgun somebody, maybe just outplay him. You know, hit him with that movement, finesse. You know, I know the stem now is everybody's running the stems because you just slide all the way to Narnia and back in 3 seconds. It's like, wait, you was literally there, and then I saw your head, and now you're behind me, and I'm getting assassinated. How is this possible? You know? I mean, I was playing with Dozy. This guy's hit. You know what I'm about to say, huh? This guy he hit the stem. Dozy had him dead to rights, but the gas mask animation messed him up. And this guy slid behind his loadout, but he kind of like slid and stopped. And Dozy was tracking him, like shooting at him. And all of a sudden, Dozy just died. I'm like, what?
Bro, he slid for a good 5 seconds with that stem.
He slid.
He started.
He started by this fence on this road and slid all the way, like, you know, an extra 6 yards, you know, headed toward the end zone, and then just stopped and melted Dozy. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know.
So I don't know if the stems need to be adjusted too, you know, and I mean some people, and I low key feel like sometimes when I get hit with somebody who's using the stem, I don't even call that skill, because I guarantee you, if you didn't have that stem, buddy, I would have killed you there. You know, it's like, do you chalk it up as they just that skilled, or they just use something that's kind of broken right now?
I mean, it's like what is it, like a skill gap, just like slide cancel and bunny hopping. I mean, that's basically what it is.
You have to adapt. You have to learn how to
you do.
either use it or track people who are doing it. And I think honestly, you said should it be like, is it overpowered? I think it should be shortened. Like I think you shouldn't be able to get 3 stem slides off. Like I think it should be maybe a second and a half of a speed boost. Maybe get 1 slide off. It lasts too long right now.
In my opinion, to be frank and fairly honest, I don't even think the stem should give you a boost. The stem should just regenerate your health. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't give you any kind of boost. If you want boost, hit dead silence, because that makes you run fast a little bit and you don't hear your footsteps. Don't even have the stem as a boost. Just if you one shot, you hit a stem, it regenerates your health fully. That's what it's supposed to do, in my opinion. I don't know.
I would agree, but I think what they did, and I think they kind of overdid it, but people complain so much about stuns and flashes, which, to be fair, they are completely broken. They are completely broken, but I think what they did was they buffed them to the point where, I mean, when's the last time you got stunned? I mean, it's so rare that you get stunned now, and it used to be every gunfight. You get double stunned, triple stunned.
All the stems, yeah. People
all the stems.
Well, stems and snapshots now is the trending thing right now.
Oh my god, don't get me started on snapshots.
Legal walls.
Legal wall hacks, that's what it is.
So, I mean,
low key, I'm not gonna say too much about the snapshots. I don't use them, but they are handy if you have a team, especially if you're playing quads, and you have at least one teammate using them. It can definitely help you see if there's somebody camping in a corner. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I mean, it is good. I don't think you should get like so many of them, but it is good.
Restock.
Yeah, restock. But I mean, it does help. I mean, because sometimes when you go into a house and you hear footsteps, and then the footsteps just stop, you know the person's kind of camping somewhere. Unless you know the layout of the house to a certain degree, or unless you got a heartbeat sensor, but then again, they could be wearing Ghost. It is helpful to throw a snapshot just to see where they are, just because there's so many campers. Or if there's like your teammate went down and you're trying to bait out the revive, do a snapshot and see if that person's pushing or not. So it can be useful. I don't know how you would regulate it, but honestly, if I had to pick between stim and snapshot, what to get rid of and what to keep, I'd say get rid of the stim. 100%.
Well, I mean, if I had to choose between stims and stuns, I'd say get rid of the stuns, keep the stims. But I also, to your point, I would say, yeah, what'd you say? Get rid of the stims, keep the snapshots?
Yeah.
I would agree, but like you said, it needs to be regulated. So number one, they buffed the hell out of them. So like the range is increased.
The range is
You
increased.
can throw one here and get somebody behind you. Like that should, yeah, they increased the duration, and they made it so that your teammates see them. So I don't know if they should take away the fact that your teammates can see them. I think that's kind of useful. But is it overpowered to give everybody on your team legal wall hacks for 5 seconds?
Again, it's like, yeah, I agree with that at 100%. I mean, as useful as it is to have the teammates see them, maybe not have it to where they have to rely on that person who threw it to tell them where they are.
Exactly, comms.
Comms, heavy comms, HCOM.
Give me some heavy comms on these guys.
Yeah,
where they at?
Do the snapshot, where are they at? So it's up to you. So I would say, change the duration to a shorter time. And if you're going to keep the duration, take out the fact that the teammates can see that, I mean, there's so many things they could do. I feel like there's little small things that would make the biggest difference in this game.
Yeah. We could next week
things, huh?
Next week, if you want, we could talk about I'll come up with some stuff that we feel like could improve the game, because God knows I have so many small things that could be improved that would make the game so much more playable.
Yeah.
I probably have a list in my head with 500 things on it that they could change, but we could save that for another podcast, honestly.
Dozy's list of 500 things of why Warzone is better. Number 1.
Why Warzone sucks and why you suck at Warzone. That'll be my 2 videos.
Down bad. Fuck.
Oh man. Well, I guess that's a good way to wrap it up. We covered keyboard and mouse versus controller. And I'm gonna stand by the statement: PC MR 100%. PC master race. I mean, you're always gonna be better on keyboard and mouse. The movement, unless you're playing with a controller on 10 sensitivity or 13 high to get that same kind of movement, you're gonna always get beat. But when the aim assist comes to play in a close range gunfight, yeah, the controller player hands down. And Call of Duty is a controller heavy based game, whereas you got Valorant, CS:GO, Overwatch, those are more PC heavy. So yeah, I could see Dozy's standpoint coming from a keyboard and mouse player, and from his perspective, why it could be so irritating. Because I mean, let's be honest, they just did cross-platform 2 years ago, right? 2019 Modern Warfare was the first. The Call of Duty used to be just console only. Now they're trying to implement PC. And I think that's why I give it maybe another year and a half before they really get a good balance. I gotta give them a little grace, because they just implemented cross-platform, and so now everybody's getting a gaming PC and playing mouse and keyboard on a game that was solely for a decade controller based, and so they haven't really figured out how to balance it. So I'll give them, maybe hopefully this next Call of Duty game they'll figure out a way. So we have to keep that in mind too. It's kind of fairly new, but they should have known that when they transitioned. But so and then keyboard versus mouse, or keyboard and mouse versus controller, cover that. VPNs, and then what was the other thing? Oh, skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, it has a lot to do with all that. So, but yeah, if you guys out there, if you're a gamer and you want to try to get better, you can join our Discord. We've got tons of channels that we throw out guns with different attachments you might be able to use. You might be able to talk to somebody to get your gameplay up. If you're a non-gamer but you enjoy the conversation, more power to you. So whether you're a gamer or non-gamer, hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to hit the notification bell on the YouTube channel to stay up to date on all the episodes that's going to be coming out. This was a great one. I feel like we covered a lot of things, and a lot of things that probably a lot of gamers that feel the same way, as we do about all this. So, once again, Corey, thanks for, coming by, brother.
Yes, sir. I'll be here next week.
Dozy, you too as well. And you're starting your YouTube here soon, Dozy, huh? Can they go subscribe right now? You don't have any content, but they can go subscribe, right?
Yeah, I think you need to update the link in your Discord, but
Okay.
I'm trying to get my internet worked out, and here in a few weeks I should be uploading
Go
content.
subscribe to
for sure.
Dozy. I'll link his new YouTube channel in the description below. Go give him some love. He's gonna be bringing us. I'm not gonna say too much, but I saw his logo that he's coming out with. Woo! I'm just saying. Woo, brother. That's dope. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Knox. You guys have a good one. Be cool, stay safe, and keep those comms heavy. Peace out.